Hey, Chris, is there anything you would do different at age 26, looking in retrospect, to aim yourself to a successful life in business? I remember I first took your MBA course about 5 years ago. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. What would I do? I mean, I'll tell you where I was. This is all, there's no filter here. I was interning at Goldman Sachs at 26. It was 1998. Yeah. And I was so scared. And I remember I was at Goldman, and I thought, like, I was insecure. Like, I was, when I was younger, when I was in the sixth grade and the eighth grade, the school I went to, they wanted to fail me. They thought I had a learning disability. So I always thought I wasn't good enough. And so that's why I always worked harder than everybody else. So I remember I was at Goldman Sachs. They were very nice to me. And I didn't want to talk because I thought if I say something, they'll know I'm dumb. If I don't say something, they think I might be dumb. And at that point in time, what was going through my head was a great song by Nirvana called Dumb. I'm just putting you there with me in real time. But I wish I could have gone back in time and told myself, Chris, you're just as smart as everybody else. Get some confidence, because, and I'm talking to myself in hindsight, whether or not you think you can do something, you're right. Perception becomes reality. It's always the case. And nobody is smarter than you. And I want you, please, all for homework, to do a search on YouTube for Steve Jobs Smarter Than You. Watch that video. It's about a minute. It'll change your life. It'll change your life. I wish I had gone back and told myself that. But you know what? I don't really have many regrets, because everything I did kind of sent me down a path to teaching, which is what I love doing. I wish I had started teaching earlier in life. But then again, I probably wouldn't have been able to teach you all about finance and business if I hadn't, made mistakes and been successful humbly as well. So I guess I would also say, I would have also told myself this. I'm a religious man. I would have told myself, Chris, don't worry, because God already knows what's going to happen. And that should put you at ease. So don't question your faith. That's what I would have said to myself. So I wouldn't have worried as much. But at that point in time, I had just written a book that was published in 95 by the late, great Andy Grove, the CEO of Intel, called Only the Paranoid Survive. And I thought that it was healthy to be paranoid. It's healthy paranoia, which is an oxymoron. I think it's healthy to be paranoid, but it's also healthy to, to not get stressed out as often. Just relax. Because if you stress out too much, you're going to die young. And what is the purpose of life? Am I working every day so I can be happy in the future? What the fuck is that? Why not be happy right now? Why not live for today? And don't worry about tomorrow. And don't worry about the past, because you can't change the past. Just focus on today, man. Enjoy every day. Every day is a vacation. Every day is a holiday. And the only way to really live your life on your own terms is to start your own company. And that's what I did. And in 2007, I finally got my green card. And so I started a hedge fund and a venture capital firm here in the States. So I don't really have that many regrets. I would just say in hindsight, Chris, don't worry as much. Worrying is the ultimate killer. It ages you, man. It really does. And you can't reverse aging, but you can slow it down a bit. And I have a lot of tips if you care on how to do that. But worrying it kills you, man. It gives you a heart attack. And, I remember this episode of National Geographic on television where there was a lion chasing a gazelle. And they hooked up all these monitors to the gazelle just to monitor its heart, its breathing, etc. And what happens is when a lion is chasing a gazelle, obviously the gazelle runs for its life. And it's terrified. And it pumps a lot of blood to the heart. And what happens at the same time is the immunity system shuts down for the gazelle while it's running. The reproductive system shuts down as well when the gazelle is running for its life. Everything shuts down except for one cardiovascular function, which is pumping blood to the heart and focusing on moving quickly so you don't get killed. Well, I mention that because we weren't meant to feel massive amounts of stress in our lives unless we were kind of fending for our life. Life-threatening something is occurring to us. And the problem is that people get so stressed out with work that it ages them and it hurts their personal life. Like I have a lot of friends that have tried to have kids, and having children is not as easy as you think, right? It can be really frustrating. We're very blessed. Christine and I have 3 wonderful boys, but whenever you hear of one of your friends getting pregnant, there's probably 1 or 2 other friends of yours that are trying unsuccessfully. And what happens is a lot of times a husband and wife, when they're trying to conceive, it's so stressful. Are you pregnant now? Did it work now? I remember once actually, Christine did a pregnancy test, and I was like, "Are you pregnant?" No, nothing. You're like, "Oh," and we're both stressed. It was just that one time though, but it happens a lot to a lot of people. And so what happens is people are so stressed out from trying to have a kid that the reproductive system shuts down. And then what happens is they adopt wonderful children. And then after the adoption process is done and they're happy, then they're pregnant because they're not stressed out. They're not stressed out. So in hindsight, I would have told myself, Hakuna Matata, which is don't worry because God already knows what's going to happen. Just enjoy today. You can't control the past.